Bugkalot is from the root word kalot, meaning interweave or interwoven. Bugkalot are commonly referred to as Ilongot, especially in older studies, but nowadays, the endonym Bugkalot is preferred in modern ethnic research. They were also called Abacos, Ibalaos, and Lingotes. They were formerly headhunters and live in an enclave. The word Ilongot, as a matter of fact, is not from Ilongots. It was just created by an outsider, but it was accepted in their tribe because they acknowledge its general meaning. Roughly translated as enemies and headhunters, it was an inappropriate description of their forefathers' practices. The Ilongot have traditionally lived a semi-nomadic life in groups with around 180 or so members. Each group is made up of several settlements, which in turn have 4 to 9 households with 5 to 15 nuclear families and 40 to 70 individuals. Settlements are set up by their fields and are moved whenever they clear new fields. Houses are built on pilings 15 feet off the ground and have walls made of grass and bamboo. Members of the Ilongot tribe are probably the closest things to real-life Tarzans. Using 30-foot pieces of rattan, Ilongots travel through the thick jungle by swinging from tree to tree. One end of the rattan vine has a hook on it which is hooked around the tree limb. Holding on the vine with their hands and toes, the tribesmen are able to swing from one branch to another. The orange shaded section of the map depicts the generally claimed Ilongot territory in northern Luzon, mainly inhabiting the southern Sierra Madre and Caraballo mountains on the east side of Luzon in the Philippines, primarily in the provinces of Nueva Vizcaya, Nueva Ecija, and along the mountain border between the provinces of Quirino and Aurora.
Ilongots think of language first in terms of action. They see commands as the exemplary act of speech, displaying less concern for the subjective meanings that an utterance conveys than for the social context in which utterances are heard. Because through commands, they both articulated and shaped ongoing forms of social order. Women would, for instance, readily explain that they rarely urged domestic chores upon a spouse because they knew that men were lazy and could not be moved when in the home, and even more because they felt respect and fear towards an accomplished husband's angry force. Before the 1950s, when Protestant missionaries arrived in their homelands, the Ilongot or Bugkalot had never been exposed to major world religions. But now, many of them are already evangelical Christians. The Ilongot believe in a variety of supernatural beings, including a creator, overseer deity associated with the sun and ancestral spirits. Supernatural beings who are both helpful and dangerous are included in traditional belief systems. Illness is thought to be caused by supernaturals who lick or urinate on the individual, by deceased ancestors, or by supernatural guardians of fields and forests who become enraged when what they guard is destroyed by humans. There are few shamans who treat disease, and those who have been cured can cause a portion of the shaman's spiritual power to cure others. Otherwise, spiritual curing power comes from illnesses and visions. After that, the individual spirit which travels at night during his life continues on. Because this spirit is harmful to the living, it is driven away from homes by sweeping, smoking, bathing, and invocation. The gods of the Bugkalots are Cain and Abel. two benevolent and omnipotent brothers who are known to them as the creators and guardians of the world. Abel is the creator of the lowlanders, while Cain is the creator of the upland people, including the Bugkalots. The Bugkalots prayed to these gods as well as their messenger, Binangunan. They also believe in good and bad spirits or anitos, and worship heavenly bodies, the rain, and their ancestors. The Ilongot is buried in a sitting position, and if a woman has her hands tied to her feet, to prevent her ghost from roaming. The wife of the deceased person prepares the body with specially chosen clothes by herself, and is placed in a coffin in the center of the house when done. A wood log is then lit in the front of the house and is burned during the entire wake, and is completed by all the family members washing their hair with a special shampoo. Also, a death in a household requires a young man in that house avenge it. A pig is sacrificed when headhunters return.
Young men are expected to engage in a successful headhunt before marriage. Prospective marriage partners usually exchange gifts, work together in the fields, and have sex before they get married. Pregnancy speeds up the process, which is finalized until the two families who are going to be unified have settled all their disputes. Marriage in the Ilongot culture are not too formal or fraught with prohibitions and taboos. Incest is prohibited up to the level of first cousins, as it is usual for a particular set of brothers to offer leadership in a community, marrying the set of brothers with a set of sisters. Also, their close cousin is also common. Aside from that, the Ilongot have complete influence over their fellow Ilongots. Parents rarely tell their children who they should marry because doing so would almost result in failure. Ilongot persons dance at ceremonies like the Buayat celebrations that followed successful headhunting raids, and wear elaborate ornaments that embodied quickness and movement of skilled hunters. Courtship dance, tagem of the Ilongot indigenous peoples of Bayanihan, Aurora. It is composed of spontaneous bodily movements in the beat of the kulising and sipal musical instruments. Kulising and sipal are the Ilongot or Bugkalot term which refers to their traditional music instrument, a stringed musical instrument that is plucked. It has 5 or 6 strings which is usually held by a man, while the woman strikes the string with a small bamboo stick. Baleleng dance is the popular festive dance of Bugkalots. This traditional dance is performed as a thanksgiving for a bountiful harvest. It is meant to rejoice the special occasions of their tribe. This is also used to express their gratitude into their goddesses. Usually, the celebration is performed 2 times a year. Folktales or dimolat are the principal entertainment of the Ilongot, either in a short form told by individuals taking a short rest together or otherwise meeting each other by chance, or in a long form reserved to pass long evenings or periods of torrential rains. The long form involves an old woman or man with a wealth of lore at her or his disposal, singing tales that freely mix supernatural, human, and animal characters and highlight practical jokes. These storytellers embroider the basic plot with repetitions and minor happenings, open for comic relief, and draw out final syllables or add meaningless words to conform to the fixed melody.